I like to start with a quote related to the topic, but this time I couldn't settle on one, so here's 6. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I cannot accept not trying. Failure is nature's plan to prepare you for great responsibilities. If you try to fail and you succeed, which have you done? If you could do anything and knew you wouldn't fail, what would you do? I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. See if you can match the quotes to the source above. I'll reveal the answers at the end of the video. It may seem counterintuitive, but failure has led to the out-of-this-world success of the richest people on Earth. Meet Nick. Back in the late 90s, Nick had an idea for a website to sell electronic goods for no more than a $2 markup to a young demographic. Seemed like a great idea during the dot-com boom. Unfortunately, the site failed to generate any money and was quickly shut down after it started up. Then, in 1999, Nick had an idea for a gaming and marketing website that gave users the chance to win cash prizes. This idea even raised nearly $4 million in capital. But in less than 2 years, the company failed, unable to gain traction among users. All the invested money gone. With his string of failures, Nick started to wonder, are my ideas any good? Have you ever had an idea that you thought could change your life, but your great idea ended up being a failure? Well, if you actually put forth some effort to executing that idea, even though it failed, you are infinitely closer to success than just about everyone else in the world. This is part 4 of a series based on Scott Adams' How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. Part 1 is an overview. In part 2, How to Think Like a Billionaire, I detailed the benefits of having a systems mindset. In part 3, I provide 10 tips on being a systems thinker. Now, part 4, failure. Failure is a major part of systems thinking, and failure can be paramount to a system's success. Scott Adams says, failure is a resource that can be managed and always brings something valuable with it. Don't let failure leave until you extract that value. We are conditioned that failure is bad, that failure is the worst thing that can happen, that failure is permanent. None of those are true. Redefine failure in your mind. Failure is just the beginning. Failure is learning. Failure is a skill. Failure really is success. The only real failure is not trying. We learn from our mistakes and failures. We can also learn from others' mistakes and failures. I think the best way to do that is to read and listen to podcasts like How I Built This and The Tim Ferriss Show. I've listened to countless podcasts on entrepreneurs, businessmen, and success. And the one theme that sticks out is that every single one of them made mistakes and experienced failure, usually many failures. Richard Branson may be the most famous example of a serial failure. To quote Branson, "We've never been 100% sure that any of the businesses we've started at Virgin were going to be successful. Failure is a necessary part of business, so it's incredibly important for all entrepreneurs and business leaders to know when to call it a day, learn from their mistakes, and move on fast." Student Magazine was Branson's first major venture, and it didn't run as well as he hoped. But Branson advertised music record mail orders in the magazine, which led to his big success with Virgin Records. Branson's many failures include Virgin Cola, Virgin Cars, Virgin Brides, Virgin Clothes, Virgin Wear, Virgin V, and Virgin Digital. Jeff Bezos is the founder of Amazon.com and is on his way to being the richest man in the world. He nurtures a culture of failure at Amazon. Bezos believes failed experiments are a necessary evil to creating successful inventions. He says failure and inventions are inseparable twins. Some examples of failed Amazon ventures include Amazon Destinations, Amazon Auctions, and the Fire Phone. Quote Bezos, "If you think that's a big failure, we're working on much bigger failures right now. And I'm not kidding. And some of them are going to make the Fire Phone look like a tiny little blip." In Amazon's most recent shareholder letter, he sums up the culture saying, "I believe we are the best place in the world to fail. We have plenty of practice." He says 9 times out of 10 you're going to fail, but every once in a while you'll hit a home run that in business terms is more like 1,000 runs. Given a 10% chance of a 100 times payoff, you should take that bet every time. Remember Nick? He had another idea. He wanted to strap a waterproof camera to athletes' wrists. Learning from his past failures, he went on to create America's fastest growing camera company, GoPro. Nicholas Woodman is now worth over $1 billion. Every time we fail, we gain something. Scott Adams details his many failures and how to fail at almost everything and still win big, and what he gained from those failures. From his failures, he learned that good ideas have no value because the world already has too many of them. The market rewards execution, not ideas. He learned to seek opportunities in which you have an advantage or an edge. He learned a good deal about advertising, marketing, and product development. He learned enough about personal computers to look like a technical genius in the early days of computing. His corporate experience formed the knowledge base upon which Dilbert was born. He learned a lot about website design and implementing new features. And he learned that most failures involve bad luck, bad timing, ignorance, and sometimes ordinary stupidity. Adams says failure is where success likes to hide in plain sight. So can you find success? It could be hiding right under your nose, in your current efforts that don't seem to be going anywhere, or in your past mistakes. Most people tend to try and forget their failures. But everything you want out of life is in that huge, bubbling vat of failure. The trick is to get the good stuff out. Successful people treat success as a learnable skill, and they learn and grow from their failures. Adams also says, success has a price. If you want success, figure out the price, then pay it. If you're afraid of any of what that price might be, just think to yourself, what's the worst that could happen? The price could be embarrassment, lack of social life for a time, or eating ramen for a year, to name a few. Are any of those things really that bad? Almost always the worst thing is embarrassment, or some loser making a mean comment. And I don't know anyone who wouldn't trade a small amount of embarrassment for riches. Once you're a huge success, those embarrassments are the best stories, and you will wear them with a badge of honor. You will take pride in your failures and embarrassments, and you will remember and laugh in the face of those who made fun of you. How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis talks about harnessing the fear of failure. Most people feel failure so much they never try anything. The knowledge that failure is an integral part of success alone gives you an edge. It's nearly impossible to not be at least a little fearful of the unknown. But if you're fearful, that means so are others, and they are more likely to back down. So stare failure down and say, bring it on. Tony Robbins says, there is no such thing as failure. There are only results. So really, your great idea didn't fail at all. Your execution of that great idea just did not result in the outcome you wanted. You actually succeeded in trying to execute that idea, and as a result, learned something. Now the key is to put what you learned to use and try again and again and again. The best computer systems, programs, and applications go through rigorous testing. Testing a program consists of trying to break it, give it bad inputs, and see what happens. How does it handle errors? How does it fail? Programmers learn from those failures and fix the program and make it better and better. Test yourself and your system. Challenge yourself to fail. Literally try to fail. If you try to fail and you succeed, which have you done? The correct answer is you succeeded. So if you have an idea, try and realize it. What do you have to lose? What's the worst that could happen? Remember, the only real failure is not trying. Okay, as promised, here's the answers to the quotes from the intro. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Winston Churchill or Abraham Lincoln. I've seen it attributed to both, and it might actually never have been said by either of them. Great quote nonetheless. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I cannot accept not trying. Michael Jordan. Failure is nature's plan to prepare you for great responsibilities. Napoleon Hill, author of the classic Think and Grow Rich. If you try to fail and you succeed, which have you done? George Carlin, I think, but can't find the original source. If you can find audio of him saying it, please let me know in the comments. If you could do anything and knew you wouldn't fail, what would you do? Tony Robbins. I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison. Thanks for watching. It'd mean a lot to me if you hit that thumbs up. But if you think this video is an epic fail, then by all means, hit that thumbs down. Either way, have a great day and see you next time.